5-star banger, Project Wolf Hunting. 5-star banger, Project Wolf Hunting. There is no other rating for Project Wolf Hunting. I'm laying it down. I am overruling Eric Holmes and Bruce, even though I'm outnumbered and outclassed and out-knowledged by these two. 5-star banger, Project Wolf Hunting. Now let's go to our recommendations. The Project Wolf Hunting comes out October 7th. I love it so much. I want to cry. No, and all kidding aside, that's not actually kidding. It's directed by Kim Hong-soon. I'm going to look at my phone right now because I rarely do this. I am going to read the first paragraph of Project Wolf Hunting because there are things that I do not want us to spoil. And I know Eric and Bruce are better than me when it comes to not spoiling things. But I'm just going to start with the paragraph of what Project Wolf Hunting is about. Quote, bloody bedlam breaks out on the high seas in writer-director Kim Hong-soon's gnarly action thriller that pits cops versus cons aboard a cargo ship with a sinister secret in its hold. So think about this. Cops versus cons. Good guys versus bad guys, but there is a sinister secret aboard this cargo ship. That is the plot for Project Wolf Hunting. Oh my gosh, I interviewed the director, Kim Hong-soon, I believe, and the first question I asked him, is this the bloodiest film ever in the history of cinema? And I think he said, no, there's been other films, but to me, I think the body count in this movie is about 57 or 58 kills, and my goodness, it just goes for it. And it is bloody, it is violent. The barrier to entry is, if you don't like seeing blood, well, blood is actually a co-star in Project Wolf. This should be called Project Blood Clotting, not Project Wolf Hunting, okay? It's blood everywhere and violence everywhere. And I ate it all up. I loved it. I never knew I would love something so gnarly and violent and blood spurting everywhere and offensive to, I'm sure, a lot of people, but it just worked for me, and I talked this movie up to Eric and Bruce. I have a feeling they're going to think I'm completely crazy for actually giving this a 5-star banger, but this was like pure entertainment for me. Loved it every single second. And I don't want to get into spoilers, but there are creative decisions in this movie that are probably, some would say, absolutely bat-ish insane, but I loved it. Let's go first to Eric Holmes. Your thoughts on Project Wolf Hunting. You were the last of us to see this. This is very fresh in your mind.
Yeah, this movie treats humans like, I don't know, water balloons filled with red liquid. Someone stabbed. Like, you are not wrong. The blood is a co-star in this movie. It's insane. This feels kind of like Friday the 13th or Resident Evil on a boat. And I had a lot of fun with this one. I think my only drawback on it was it might have went on a little too long. I think this is 2 hours long.
Yes, 122 minutes. 100, yeah.
Yeah, I probably could have shaved off maybe 20 minutes or a half hour or so, because a lot of that, and there's a bunch of action, there's a bunch of great effects, but at one point it's kind of like, all right, I've had my fill. Let's move it along.
122. I wish it was 244. So. But fairness, yeah.
I think this also has like some social messages I think are kind of wonky, but that's like one of those movies that where like the social message is there if you want it, but you can ignore it if it comes off as trite to you. This is just a really fun kind of, at its heart, it's kind of a slasher movie, I guess. And we have not gotten a good Resident Evil movie. So if you're like, hey, I want to see a good Resident Evil movie, but on a boat, well, here you go. Watch Project Wolf Hunting, because that's almost exactly what this is.
I'm glad you liked it. What about you, Bruce?
Oh, I liked it quite a bit too. I actually had almost the exact same reservations though that Eric had. First of all, there's another video game I'd compare this to, but I'm not going to, or it might spoil something. But maybe offline I'll tell Eric. But it's
Angry Birds. Is it Angry Birds?
It is. There's Angry Birds in this. So the obvious things we're going to call this is what, Con Water, because it starts out as that. I was trying to think like, well, how do we not spoil it but tell people how bloody it is? And I think a great way to describe it is there's at one point a character hits another character, and there's so much blood on the floor, the character just slides across the floor on the blood because the floor is flooded with blood. So this is my reservation on this movie. First of all, the blood doesn't bother me. The bonkers, you throw out or throw in everything and the kitchen sink into the plot. It doesn't make sense. Don't try to make too much sense out of it. It has flashbacks. Flashbacks are amazing. I could have used more of those. But my reservation is this. I think the blood level is awesome. I think it should have built up a little bit to it, because I think what the problem is it hits a level, you're at that level, and you just stay at that level. And at a point, I'm like, I want to see when reveal at midpoint happens, I want to see what's happened before that's already been crazy, go to the next level. And I had a hard time. Sometimes it did, but sometimes it didn't go to the next level. Like there's a point one time where one character rips a person's arm off and then beats him with it. That's the kind of stuff. So when the first part is, all people getting stabbed and beaten and blood just spraying everywhere, well, the next part has to be even more. A perfect example, Dead Alive. We're talking about all the bloody movies in history, right? Dead Alive is a great one, right? It's not until the third act that the lawnmower comes out. And when the lawnmower comes out, you're like, oh shit, because it's got to the next level. So that's what this thing missed. It missed that next level. Just take it up to the next notch. And so there was a little bit of sameness. That being said, hell of a lot of fun. And if the other one was a party movie, for the friends that that group of friends that likes these kind of movies, this is like an absolute party movie. Because that length and that sameness will be washed away by the beer and other things that you're doing, and just stopping every so often in the middle of a conversation, looking over and like, oh shit, look what just happened, So this is perfect for that. So a lot of fun, and this will find immediate cult following. Immediate.
Yes. Bruce, what is your rating on Project Wolf Hunting?
It might go up. I'm going to say 4 stars. I'm 4 stars.
Solid 4, which is good. What about you, Eric?
I'm the exact same. I think if they tighten it up like just a little bit, this could have easily been like a 5-star banger, but it's still fun. And just like Bruce said, get some friends together and get drunk and fucking have a ball, because this thing's, and we're in October. This is like the perfect movie to get people over. And it's like, hey, let's get some beers and watch some fucking bloody. This is the one you want to see.
Look, this movie, it comes out in theaters. It's not digital or on demand. It's a Well Go USA release. So October 7th in theaters. In my opinion, if it's available in your local theater, check it out. Especially, like Bruce said, if you love movies like Dead Alive, these kind of bloody films. Right? Bruce, you're going to say you like that?
I was going to say, yeah, no, this is Friday or Saturday night. You've been out, you've had some dinner, you've been going and having some drinks. It's 10 o'clock, there's a showing. That's when you go. You go with like 10 of your friends, and you just get a shitload of popcorn and candy, and you start throwing stuff at the screen. No, don't destroy the theater.
Don't do that. The people that work in the theater are like,
don't do that.
What the fuck are you talking about? Do not do that.
Can you
metaphorically throw stuff at the screen?
Oh, Bruce and Eric, can you imagine a packed house, or just some people watching Project Wolf Hunting? Can you imagine? Oh.
That would be a blast.
That would be a total blast. Yeah, again, in theaters October 7th. We'd love to hear. Hopefully some of you listeners will go out to check out Project Wolf Hunting. Again, what is the barrier to entry to this movie, Eric Holmes?
It goes on a little too long, but I mean, again, with the context that we're putting it in, like getting friends together, I think at that point maybe the length wouldn't matter so much if you're just kind of with friends watching it. If you're watching it by yourself, it's like after about the hour and a half, you're like, all right, we can wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that Eric and Bruce both loved it, enjoyed it. They give both 4 stars. For me, 5 stars. This could have been 244 minutes. It might be 244 minutes, Eric Holmes. You know why? Because the director, Kim Hong-soon, he already has a couple of movies in mind. Project Wolf Hunting was actually the middle of a possibly planned trilogy.
I'm down for that.
You can see that. You can see that this movie should have been more than one movie, actually.
Yeah.
And in fact, like with all, because I mentioned with Resident Evil, all the previous Resident Evil movies, they hired the wrong directors. They need to hire whoever did this to do the next Resident Evil.
That is a very good point.
They get it.
They get it. They definitely get it.